there, this is Jennifer Lynn Warren from American Horror Stories Coven, and you're watching The Horror Show. Wait, horror what?
Horror show. Yes, ma'am.
Horror? I was like, Horror Network, horror. Hey there, you're watching. Oh, shit. This is Jennifer Lynn Warren from American Horror Stories Coven, and you're watching The Horror Show. Yes, that is what you're watching. Should I do that again?
It's okay, we do bloopers too.
Awesome. Now I know where I'm going to end up.
Kid.
Who are you?
I'm the Boogeyman.
What are we doing in here?
We boogie, man.
And action. I forgot my lines.
Susie, what's the best way to get a carotid artery stain out of the carpet?
Let me check that. Okay, I found this on the web for the best way to get a carotid artery stain out of the carpet.
Wow. Wow.
We don't need series.
Okay.
We're gonna have a school full of zombies that we're gonna have to kill.
Okay, I need you to step.
She was ready. Just
Did you get that on?
Good.
I did. Okay, that's awesome.
Killing zombies ain't fun, but sometimes you just gotta improvise.
Okay, we gotta do that again.
Sometimes successfully, and sometimes not successful. Sometimes successfully.
Hi, I'm Kane Hodder. You're watching The Horror Show.
All right. First, let's make sure everyone can hear us.
You got a haircut, didn't you?
I did get a haircut, yes. Hey, everyone. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Jaime and Fuego.
And this is your Horror Show News
with booze. I got
Once
the
again,
big baby beer
cheers.
thing. It's the diet beer. It doesn't really have
let's
much
make
of the
sure
alcohol
everyone
in it.
hears us. All right. Can everyone hear us? Everyone good?
Can
Hello,
you
hello, hello,
hear
hello.
us now? I
Can
hope
you
you
hear
can
us now?
hear us now.
We had some audio issues last time. We want to make sure.
Must make certain everything horror. I see Dino is here. Dino Mite!
Dino is here. Everything horror is here. Sam Power is here.
Sam Power.
Hey,
Always
Cecil
bringing the
Fuego.
power.
What's up? Like the group, but everything horror. I attempted to join the group and I answered the questions. Did it go through? Because then when I went back, it said I hadn't answered the questions. I wasn't sure if it went through or not, but I tried to do it. Guys, can you hear us? Yes.
I would assume.
I'm assuming that's a yes.
Saying,
okay.
Saying Dino and stuff that
Look,
we are heard.
We're both in blue. We're the boys in blue today.
Boys
All
in
right.
blue.
So, guys, we are here to do the horror show news with booze, and thus we are here to talk about this week's horror news stories. Fuego, get us started with news story number 1.
Well, news story number 1 is one that there was tons of buzzy chattering about this past week, and that is the fact that Atomic Monsters, which is James Wan's production company, is currently working on a Swamp Thing. Well, I guess it's is it even really a TV series if it's like on a streaming service? That's the one thing that just really yeah, I guess it is. But so nonetheless,
how dare you?
Well, just clarification. It's not airing on like a regular television station or anything like that. But so
how
DC,
dare you?
So DC in 2019,
haircut,
as I'm sure
Cecil. Yes, I got a haircut, guys.
Yeah, I just mentioned that myself.
Sorry,
I did not get one.
You're making me nervous about it.
I did chop off
I know,
a
it
lot
doesn't
of
look
hair
great.
like
Jesus
about 6
Christ,
months
what did
ago.
I do?
No, dude,
looks like I just got out of bed.
It looks good.
It's horrible.
You're fine. You're fine.
It's terrible.
But as I'm sure you know, DC has this streaming service that they are launching next year. You've heard about this, right? They've got the live action Titan show.
Who?
A few other DC. DC has an
live
online
action Titan show.
Yeah.
Oh,
live action
Titans. Titans. Yes.
Teen Titans.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
Well,
anyway,
there are the Teen Titans, and then there when the Teen Titans
you know
grow
better.
up, they become the Titans.
Well, you know better about
so
that
it's
than me.
Nightwing and Starfire. It's them after they have gotten out of their teen phases.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But
Right.
in 2019, there is this DC streaming service that is coming, and James Wan is producing a Swamp Thing television series. Now, Swamp Thing did have a previous TV series, which was pretty bad, but I actually really, you know what's funny? A lot of people direct themselves to the Wes Craven Swamp Thing movie. I like the return of Swamp Thing with Heather Locklear, and it's so over the top, and all the characters that get killed coming back in these silly fashions and stuff. I don't know. I haven't read an extensive amount of Swamp Thing, though. I know a lot of people point to the Alan Moore run, some of the Bernie Wrightson artwork as being insanely iconic, but it's not really a book that I've delved that much into. I know you have at least a little bit more than me, right?
I do have a little bit more. Everyone always points to the Alan Moore stuff, and while I'm sure it's great, I just can't really get into some Alan Moore stuff. Like, I have a bunch of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen stuff, and I like that okay, but...
You have criticized Watchmen before on this show. I know you are not.
I'm not a huge Watchmen fan.
Watchmen is dense.
Regardless of the fact that we are actually reviewing episode by or issue by issue the current DC Comics Watchmen crossover, Dirk and myself are going through that. But
no, I would love to review the original Watchmen, dude, because each issue, dude, was seriously half novel, half comic book.
It was so dense, bro. It was
well, yeah,
so
because
dense.
it was half novel, half
That's
comic
why I
book.
couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't get into it.
Well, in
but
any event,
I do have some Swamp Thing from the New 52. I actually really like the Swamp Thing from the New 52.
Wasn't Scott Snyder doing it?
Scott Snyder did a little bit of it, and then Jeff Lemire ended up taking over.
Another name I recognize, but can't say I know. Like,
dude, he's really good. And between that and Animal Man, he did Animal Man, and there was a big crossover where the green went up against the red, and it was just really dope. I was like, I didn't know Swamp Thing was this cool, but apparently he was really good during the Alan Moore stuff. I just didn't get into it.
Well, and that's where they drastically altered the character, where they went from a scientist who was turned into this like swampy creature to being something completely different that thought it was human and totally was not.
Right.
Which is kind of wild. But
yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's a little strange. It seems very Alan Moore to me.
It is.
But what I am going to say, though, is that the team behind writing this is really awesome to me. So you've got Mark Verheiden, who you and I know from the Alien and Predator stuff, but he also wrote a lot of episodes of Ash vs. Evil Dead, apparently.
He did I think he might have had something to do with some Smallville episodes as well. I don't know. It feels like I've seen his name on some comic book TV before this as well.
Yeah, makes sense.
I could be wrong though.
But he is teaming up with Gary Dauberman, who is the guy who did a polish on the It script, which a lot of people were big fans of. Although I've read the original script, it wasn't really not a lot was altered, unfortunately. You know, it was mostly Cary Fukunaga's ideas. So I don't give that guy as much credit as a lot of people do. They're like, It scriptwriter, you know, he got as this man walks away. But nonetheless,
Evening
I mean,
out the lighting there. Evening out the lighting.
there you go. But nonetheless, I think this is a dope idea. I put this story at the front for us today because of the fact that the buzz was pretty fever pitch.
People
about
love
it.
Swamp Thing, and honestly, horror fans should love Swamp Thing because he's a dark character.
Well, and he's in the dark
universe, the dark
Justice League Dark, right?
Yeah, Justice League Dark, the dark DCU.
Yeah, and they did a movie recently.
He's a
Animated,
really cool character, and but he has to be done a particular way in order to be really successful.
I agree with that, most definitely. But the next one is one that I'm extremely excited to talk about.
I don't really care.
Do you not like this casting?
I don't care about the casting, quite honestly.
Really?
Like, I'll watch the new movie, but I'm not so attached to the old one that I can't.
No, and that's
take
where
anyone new. I mean,
well, no, and that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm very excited about this casting. I tweeted. I was like, sometimes is Lithgow better? Because I was thinking of the iconic performance that we got from the dude who's the actor's name eludes me at the moment, and I didn't write it in the notes, but he played Herman Munster, and he was one of the most iconic people in this original movie. I think on par with Dr.
I knew
Creed.
his name at one point.
Yeah, I know. It's
Ted Knight. Not Ted Knight.
Yeah.
Damn.
Long story short,
you go ahead, keep talking. I'll look it up.
Long story short, though, Lithgow being involved in this, I mean, along with Jason Clarke already, presumably, they haven't officially announced Clarke, but I like the casting of him as Creed, and I'm gonna be injecting new casting announcements because there was other casting stuff.
Fred Gwynn is his name.
Yes, there you go, and he did tons of other stuff. He was a tall, handsome dude who just had.
He was the judge in My Cousin Vinny.
You know?
The two Utes. What is a Ute?
And now I'm suddenly thinking of the Seinfeld episode where George meets Marissa Tomei. Whew, I love me some Marissa Tomei. Anyway, but yeah, this is casting that I think is super cool and just adds the fact that they're going after bigger names for this shows that they are really taking this seriously. In my opinion, I'm very curious who they're gonna cast as Gage. And I'm curious who they're gonna like. Is Zelda gonna be in this? Are they gonna go that route, or are they just gonna?
That's the only thing I know about Gage's voice.
Okay, did you see how oh goodness, movie?
You made someone
Dutch
laugh.
Geek,
Yeah.
It was Movie Dutch Geek, and boy, he has different names on different social platforms, but he did a little. He did a little like meme video of that, which was very funny. I'm having.
He gifted.
That's
I'm having fuego.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I was trying to talk as
No, I liked it. That's why it made me laugh. I like when you go for it, man. I like it. You should.
Yeah, but the rest of the casting is what I'm most intrigued about. But I mean, it's coming out April 19th, 2019. It's got a lot of talented names involved already, so I'm pretty stoked about this. What do you guys think? Are you on board with this Pet Sematary remake, or is it sacrilege to try to redo this? I'm curious about your thoughts. And we're segueing into more Stephen King news.
Let's do it!
Yeah, and this is one that we didn't film today that we need to. There is a new Castle Rock trailer.
Okay, we can do it before you leave.
Yeah, dude, seriously.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm almost remiss to discuss this without having watched it already. But, they've been very vague
so
about
don't. Guys, just forget about this story.
They had been...
He put it in for no reason.
No. Let me get this up my head. They had not given an official release date beyond the fact that it was
Edward
coming
D.
out.
changed his name to Forrest Whitaker I, and it's tripping me up.
I noticed that. Yeah.
It's kind of funny that he's Forrest Whitaker's I. I'm guessing the lazy one.
Yeah, and hey, that's not very nice. And I didn't notice the change until I was looking at comments on the Avengers spoiler review we did on my channel with the first new Fuego.
By the way, guys, Fuegotainment is back for the first time in a year. That's where we put up our Avengers spoiler review, in case you guys didn't know that.
Yeah, over an hour discussion about that. But,
indeed.
But yeah.
And Fuegotainment.
Yes, exact.
Sorry,
I love it. But so Castle Rock has officially been
Sam
dated.
Power, no, we have not seen that yet.
Which is
he keeps asking, so I figured I'd answer it real quick.
Helsing.
The Helsing Ultimate Abridged.
I don't even know what that is.
No, it's Helsing is a anime. And it's a vampire hunting sort of anime, so it's something that's really interesting, but I have not watched it yet.
Well, in case y'all didn't know, I love the shit out of Vampire Hunter D. It is one of my favorite.
You probably like Helsing.
It is one of my absolute. I've seen Helsing too. Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go.
It's good.
Anyway, that's what he's talking about. Continue.
Yeah, I actually prefer Vampire Hunter D, the sequel to the original.
We shan't get distracted.
I know. Nonetheless, it happens very easily. But so Castle Rock has officially been dated, which is pretty cool. And there is a big cast.
Does it have a boyfriend or a girlfriend?
Well,
It's
Hulu,
being dated?
Well, Hulu was officially like trying to get the ring on their finger, and then there were some issues because apparently they might want to go to another.
If you got it, then
streaming
you want to
service.
put a ring on it.
Yeah, no, all right, Beyonce, that's totally fine.
What? Oh.
Yeah, they just made Lemonade instead. But nonetheless, so Hulu has officially set a release date for Castle Rock, which is cool after being so vague. It is going to be premiering on July 25th, 2008.
I'm going to raise the light. We're a little hot.
2018, and this is one that has a lot of former King conspirators, which is pretty cool. You've got Bill Skarsgård playing a prisoner in Shawshank, which is dope, and then you've got, Sissy Spacek herself, Carrie White, is on this show as well. You've got lots of other interesting casting peeps, and so this is a show that it is not, as it has finally clarified, going to be based on specific King stories. It's going to tell stories within the mythology, and it's going to be its own thing. It's going to be kind of Haven, I guess, as Marsha was reminding me about that show.
I watched all but the last season and a half of that show, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a show that I actually, being King crazoid like I am, really want to properly explore. So this is encouraging and cool news. I'm very excited. July 25th, once again.
July 25th, so close.
Yes.
Well, that'll be after Mad Monsters, so we'll be able to focus entirely on Castle Rock.
Yep, and I would like to review it episode by episode.
That's fine.
I think
I'm down. I'm with it.
Cool.
Marsha should be in it too.
Yeah,
she'd love it.
Yes, indeed. So now we go to more Hulu news, which is interesting. And
Skadoosh!
Yes. And this is one that you and I first reported on when it was initially announced, and they were like, Blumhouse wants to pair with Hulu and do a feature anthology horror film once a month for 12 months.
Love it.
Yes, and
Love
they're
it.
finally
Wait,
giving...
is it this telling this continuous story?
Nope, it's going to be all in. It's going to be like monsters, but it's going to be Masters of Horror, like Tales from the Crypt type approach, where each thing is going to be its own thing, and they're actually bringing in like big time art, like big time people. I mean, I keep thinking My Chemical Romance, My Bloody Valentine director is doing the second episode. I'm not sure about the guy who's doing the first one, but
she's pushing the thing off. I gotta go rescue the candle.
No, rescue the cat. She wants to destroy it.
The candle.
Yeah, we have we'll rescue the candle from the cat. Yeah. Table cat. You're not seeing Table Cat on screen right now, but she was about to. Yeah, he's gonna bring her on viewpoint right now, I'm assuming. There you go. Make sure she's not being mischievous. But I'm actually really stoked about this. The first episode is gonna premiere on. It's gonna premiere on October 5th, and then. No, am I off? No, sorry. No. And so what they have finally concluded that they're going to do for this for 12 months, starting in October, they're going to do a new entry, Blumhouse and Hulu combining together for an anthology feature-length series, with each episode not being like a Tales from the Crypt 20-something minutes. It's not going to be, even like a 45-minute, 50-minute, whatever, like Masters of Horror was. We're talking a full-on feature. So, a 2-hour block and, some commercials, because if you don't pay the higher price for Hulu, you get the commercials and all that crap. But nonetheless, this gets me supremely stoked, man. I love anthology horror. I love where things can be self-contained. I do, honestly, when it comes to, just singular storytelling of the anthology variety, I do like when they're a little bit shorter, they're leaner and they're meaner, but I'm totally fine with this, and I think it's cool that they're going to be doing it on the first Friday of every month. That's apparently how they are breaking it down. And so, first one, once again, October 5th. It's called The Body. It is about a
Buffy's mom when she dies?
Don't remind me.
Oh, no, that was just the name of that episode.
Oh, that made
excellent episode.
Make me cry.
So good.
Big time, in fact. But no, this is about a contract killer who is trying to dispose of some body, and there's a supernatural aspect, and he's like hiding out in a rave. I don't know. It sounds a little bit weird to me. And then the second one is about a daughter who was dealing with some postpartum stuff. But it's gonna be very different, just approaches, and I love the idea of, just like with Tales from the Crypt and Master of Horror, bringing in talented directors for each entry, doing something completely different, man. I mean, yeah, bring it on.
No, I like that. I'm a big fan of any sort of horror anthology. Blumhouse,
whatever. Blumhouse is in Bloom right now, so it's...
Ooh, good one. I like it. No, I'm all about this. I am all about this. I would like to know more. As Starship Troopers would say.
Would you like to know more?
So, Fuego, what be next?
The next one is I tried to like tie in all the notes together where it would be stuff that like coalesces a little bit, and this one actually, once again, intrigues the hell out of me. It's a new low-budget horror entry that was recently announced, and we got Sam Raimi producing. We have Alexandre Aja actually directing it. It's called Crawl.
Love that guy. Ever since High Tension, I've been a huge Alexander Aja fan.
Except for the ending. That ending
Dude, yeah, but I still loved the movie. The movie was great. And then the Evil Dead remake? Come on, bro. The
Did
Evil
he do
Dead
that was Fetty.
No, Fetty Alvarez. No, what did he do? Alexander did the Hills Have Eyes remake.
Which
the Hills Have Eyes remake was dope.
Made me genuinely uncomfortable.
Loved the Hills Have Eyes remake. Sorry, not the Evil Dead remake. The Hills Have Eyes remake.
That made me genuinely
a different Wes Craven.
Yeah.
Wes Craven didn't have to.
A different
horror
Spanish,
classic.
and a different Spanish director remaking a horror classic.
Indeed, yeah.
Come on now.
A classic fucking horror movie from Wes
Yeah,
Craven.
and honestly, I must admit, I like the Hills Have Eyes remake better than the original.
I do too. I do too. That's what I'm saying. That's why I like
I genuinely do, man.
He is a true talent.
Visually satisfying director.
Yeah, absolutely. And I knew that after both High Tension and The Hills Have Eyes.
Well,
it was very clear.
And High Tension being a French film, and it was very, there are some very wonderfully shot, iconic scenes in that I will give it credit for. It was I don't know. It was scripting that irritated me about that one, but there was nothing from a visualistic standpoint. But this pairing intrigues me even more so than anything because of what the premise actually is. Have you heard the premise of Crawl?
No.
Okay, so
do it.
So Crawl is basically where there is a massive hurricane that is hit. An entire town has been flooded, and I think it takes place in Nolans, but I can't remember if it does or not. But imagine if you're trapped in your house, and because of this huge flood, there's gators in your house.
Well, that just sounds like bait.
A little bit.
I mean,
so you're not sold on it.
Gator. Well, I mean, no, I'm on board, sure, but I mean, it's not an entirely unique.
It's not supremely original. I will give you that. I thought you were gonna be like all on board.
No, I'm excited. I mean, gators though. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I know they can if they really lean into it, here's the thing. I'm used to
actually, would it be crocs?
I'm used to the giant crocodile. There's giant gators, giant crocodiles. Remember the movies from the 70s or the 80s called Alligator?
Yeah, it was the 80s. They made 2 of them, and that was where there was that
giant alligator in the sewers.
Yeah, there was the whole old wives' tale about people flushed gators down the toilet, and then they were in the sewers in New York City and stuff. And,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
If
it seems interesting enough.
If it's tense and some good...
I'll trust Raimi and Aja.
Well, and some good scaly chomping action. I don't know. I mean, based on... I don't think Sam Raimi has ever really put his efforts in any capacity, and this is not an executive producer role. This is a producing role. I can't remember if he's gonna, be doing any co-scripting or who is behind that, but nonetheless, those two guys working together, schmawesome.
Yeah, I'm down.
Hell yeah.
What's next, Fuego?
More Evil Dead, bro. I was trying to correlate all this stuff. Yeah.
Boom,
but
shakalaka.
Now there is, unfortunately, we have to lament once more that Ash vs. the Evil Dead was canceled about a week ago.
R.I.P. Ashley J. Williams.
Yeah. Terrible. And he has officially retired from the role, which is an even bigger bummer status bit of information. But nonetheless, they are still pushing the Evil Dead property. And that does make me think that we do have hope for that sequel eventually coming. Because did you see his
Twitter?
He tweeted just the other day.
What should I do Don't Breathe
next?
2 or Evil Dead 2?
Yeah,
and Evil Dead 2 won way by a long shot.
He actually pulled a LeBron. He was like, "What should I do?" And I was thinking of the South Park where they skewered that sumbitch.
It was crazy how far Evil Dead won against Don't Breathe 2.
Yeah, and honestly, and even though I like Don't Breathe better, I think I need.
You Don't Breathe better than the Evil Dead remake?
I need to give the Evil Dead remake a rewatch.
The Evil Dead remake was really good.
And it was
gory as hell.
I didn't like it when I first saw it because of the fact that it was so supremely different than Army of Darkness, than Evil Dead 2.
Of course it was, because the Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness were extremely different from the Evil Dead.
And
it was very much like the Evil Dead.
It was, and the Evil Dead is my least favorite of those 3 films.
Okay, but it was still...
But
you didn't think it was better than the original? Sorry, I'm putting my shoe back on, and I'm trying to make sure...
No, you're fine.
It's not digging into me here.
once again, mixed feelings, man. Like, totally mixed feelings. Because they had callbacks in the Evil Dead remake to the later movies with, like, you know, the chicken carver, hand cut off shit and all that. And, I mean, it was brutal.
I love it.
It's honestly, that's probably one of the goriest movies I've ever seen.
I've been dying to watch the did they ever put out the director's cut?
No, they never did. They are still holding it back. And then Ash had the cameo at the end with the match or the lighter or whatever it was.
I've been waiting for that director's cut though. I hear that's awesome.
Maybe if they do make this sequel, they could somehow twist Bruce's arm to make a cameo. That would warm my heart and make me really happy.
You really think it's just Bruce being bitter?
Bruce is very bitter right now.
Yeah.
Bruce is pissed about this show being canceled because him and Sam and Ted Raimi, you know, who were the conceptualizers behind all this, they had an idea for this post-apocalyptic, as we talked about last week, fourth season of the show, and then they get canceled. And bummer, man, because Bruce
But I see some screenshots of that last episode of the third season, and I'm like, I really want to watch this now. Yeah. I got to figure out how to watch it.
Yeah, well, you can do the Stars 1 month preview for like $6.49 or something like that.
I don't think I can anymore.
Because you've done it already.
Yeah.
Well, long story short, there is a new 3D VR experience that is going to be released. Did I write it down? Derpy derp in June of 2018. And so, yeah, there is. But it looks like it's set in the remake universe in contrast, but I guess maybe it is the same universe and stuff.
No, it does look like the remake font. And,
yeah, it is.
I mean, the remake
Virtual
logo
Nightmare.
and everything.
Yeah, and there was that mobile game, remember, that followed us when it first came out and was like a brief sponsor when you and I were still doing Kings of Horror news. The fuck ever happened to those clowns?
Actually,
anyway,
they just put out the Blair Witch Legacy, which we did a trailer reaction for, went out on Kings of Horror. I was like, oh, that's the quality of that movie.
Yeah, Kings of Horror really touted themselves as something for a while.
They're still growing. I'm not going to diss Kings of Horror.
I'm not trying to.
They're still growing massively. They've got almost 1 million subscribers.
Wow, with the trash they put out, though, it's just wild to me. Anyway,
it's free horror movies, bro.
Yeah, free horror movies.
Terrible horror movies.
Free, really, really bad horror movies. I'm still glad we did.
Count Cucula, can you explain to me how to update my fucking Kodi so I can use my Fire Stick as such? I would love to do that. Thanks, and I appreciate it.
Yeah,
email us at the email in the description box if you can help me.
You have to constantly re-update your
stuff. It's so frustrating.
Though.
I need someone's help on that. That's why I haven't been able to watch anything. I would watch The Walking Dead. I would watch Fear the Walking Dead. I would watch The Exorcist Season 2. I'm dying to watch. I would watch the rest of Preacher Season 2. I would watch Channel Zero Season 1 and 2 and 3.
Which was almost a news story this week.
So much I want to watch.
That they just announced the 4th season this week of Channel Zero. Yeah.
So I can't get my Fire Stick to work.
Well, and that's the thing, because you would assume the studios are very vigilant with their anti-piracy action, and that's why your Fire Stick, if you're going that route, which I don't necessarily condone or condemn
I'm not trying
to
say I use it for illegal purposes. I'm just saying my Fire Stick hasn't worked in a while.
The Horror Show does not condone or condemn the use of a Fire Stick to watch.
The Horror Show remains an impartial party in such arguments.
Yeah, but nonetheless, you have to constantly update that, man, because of the fact that the anti-piracy peeps are vigilant, as they should be. You know, they're taking money away, but nonetheless,
moving
Evil
on.
Dead Virtual Nightmare VR experience coming out in June of 2018.
Now, we were just talking about the fact that he retired as Ashley J. Williams. What else happened, Fuego? This made me sad.
This breaks my heart because I have been wanting the sequel to Bubba Hotep for a long ass time.
Bubba Nosferatu?
Yeah, Bubba. Well, and they also had the prequel they were working on, which is being released as a comic book and a novel and all this other stuff. Don Coscarelli, one of my favorite directors, he did all but the shitty.
Except that he's not willing to do interviews.
Yeah, he was kind of a bum with me when I met him in person. But
he's kind of a bum.
Yeah. Nonetheless, though, he did the 4 good Phantasm movies because 5 is terrible, and that was
really 4 good ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one did you not like? 4?
4 was terrible.
I loved 4. I loved how
Oblivion
they did the throwback footage and everything. Well, in any event, Oblivion was not. It wasn't as good as the other 3. I know. Hey, this is the guy.
I'll get louder on this one. Boo!
This is the guy who. Okay, I need a sip of beer for this because this is the guy who likes Phantasm 3 more than Phantasm 2.
Yeah, Phantasm 3 was dope with all the gore and the fucking awesome kills and the stupid people going into the house and getting drilled. Like
number 2 was better though. No. I think 3 like.
Nope.
Thrill of the three, not so much.
It's
for
3,
me.
2, 1, 4, 5 to me.
Yeah, 5 was so bad.
5 was easily the worst.
Yeah, like when Cody was putting up his reviews the same day with Lee and stuff, and me and him were like messaging back and forth, or commenting, I should say, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, Ravager hurt my heart as a long lover of that series. Ravager was like one of the biggest disappointments of my horror life with how
really
bad that was. It was awful.
Same with Tremor 6 for me. Tremor 6 was a real bummer.
Sucked. Anyway. Jinxie.
So he's not going to play Bubba Hotep anymore.
No, he's basically like washing his hands of all of the popular iconic roles that he's done.
You think you
it
had
makes
a
me
theory.
wonder, like, are you think
he's bitter?
Are you gonna act
You
anymore?
think he's bitter?
What do you think?
I think you might be right.
I feel like you have a different theory.
No, I think you might be right. I think he might be bitter.
It's time to walk
and he's lashing out, and he's like, no, you don't want Ash? You're not getting anyone else from me. But I think it's just a matter of time and timing.
Doing the Maniac, do the Maniac Cop remake. I don't know. Shit. I mean, come on.
No matter what, he's still going to please. I agree. Batman Mask of the Phantasm was better than all Phantasms. I 100% agree with you, Rob.
That can suck my balls,
Dude,
Rob. I'm
Mask
sorry.
of the Phantasm is one of the best Batman movies ever.
It's fantastic, but it's not better than Phantasm.
It's not better than Dark Knight, but it is second. I think The Dark Knight is the best Batman movie, and I think Mask of the Phantasm is the second best.
I'm sorry,
Batman
Rob.
movie.
I didn't mean to say that. That's
really
that's
rude.
Not very nice.
How dare you?
I love Rob.
How fucking dare you?
Yeah.
You're
Mask
fired.
of the Phantasm.
Fuego, you're fired. Give me your notes, and then come back and deliver your notes.
It's happened before.
All right. Now, moving on to the next story. Fuego, come back. All right.
I'm rehired.
What's next? You're rehired.
I'm rehired.
What's next?
What's going on? I'm making so much money from doing this. but yeah,
pull back the curtain.
Yes, I know. But I am.
Guys, Fuego's got to go. He's got to. Sorry. Go ahead.
But I am truly disappointed in the fact that Bruce doesn't want to do this role anymore either, and I do sense some bitterness. But if we're going to jump to these last two stories, this is one that is very intriguing to me because of the fact that, you know, that with as old as Lovecraft stuff is, it's got to be public domain, and it very obviously is, which is why I'm sipping my...
It looks like you're drinking blah.
Yes, well, I am a Dampire, so, you know, yes, very similar to D in the Vampire Hunter D franchise, Esta Mio. But so there's apparently a new
Vampirates. I love that. That's a great name.
Oh, that's actually pretty. That's pretty damn good. But so there is a new streaming on Amazon film made by a young Italian director called Herbert West Reanimator. I know nothing about this. I have not even watched a trailer. But it just intrigues me to know that, you know, anybody can make, as they pointed out on Bloody, anybody can make a Reanimator film at this point. Anybody can do a, you know, Herbert West story. I have not read the original Lovecraft, so I don't know how cosmic it gets or anything like that. I still prefer From Beyond. That's another...
The movies were never that interesting to me. I was never a huge Reanimator fan.
They were darkly comedic. I like the Bride one. Beyond was terrible.
I like the guy better. I like the guy that played Herbert West much better in The Frighteners than I liked him in The Reanimator.
He was in that.
Yeah.
Cool, bro. Yeah,
he was the agent that had to have the donut from his hemorrhoids.
Yeah. Well, as far as Lovecraft stuff goes, I will reiterate I prefer From Beyond. But nonetheless, if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, peeps, and you want to see just how good, how bad this new interpretation may be, it gave the perception of being fairly low budget. But nonetheless, if your fancies have been tickled, if it's tickled your pickle or whatever some people say, I say, yeah, you know, check it out. There is an essence for me that wants to see if this could tickle mine. So,
all right,
we're going to a story that you need to talk about with your love of felines.
Dude, I am excited about this.
Cat people.
Dude, I love this. So apparently there is a new book that is going to be released that is telling the story of Alien from the perspective of Jonesy the Cat.
This sounded so weird.
In space, no one can hear you meow.
No.
And it is, it's the tale of Jonesy, 9 lives on the Nostromo, is what you said.
I want pigs in space, dude.
No, what?
Yeah, Muppets. Pigs in space!
I don't like the Muppets. No.
You do not like the Muppets?
No, I like the Muppets. I actually watched the Muppets Office sort of reality show.
I learned something new and interesting about this dude pretty much every time we film things together.
I like the idea of the Muppets. I've just never found them funny. I watched the Office one because I was like, this is an interesting idea. Still, not laughing.
Damn.
Not laughing.
The one with Charles Grodin's my favorite. I'm gonna say great Muppet Caper. Charles Grodin?
I liked him in
Midnight
Beethoven.
Run? Midnight Run?
No, Beethoven.
Oh, well, Beethoven's okay. Who loves Midnight Run? Robert De Niro, Charles Grodin. Balm
Was
as
he in Clifford
fuck.
too? Or was that just
I don't know.
Martin Short? Anyway,
in any event, I'm
excited about this. This is
our Muppets.
This I don't know if this is a kid's picture book or
based on the cover. It
looks like it, but I like it. It's
thinking
it's
it was a
Jonesy
novel
playing
originally.
with a face hugger.
I'm actually wondering if it's
cute.
going to be illustrated throughout. Is what I'm most curious about.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
It's a square novel. It looks like a kid's picture book.
Yeah.
So does the cat talk in the book? I don't know. It's a very good question. All that's been released is the cover,
have,
right?
The internal thoughts.
You think it'll have the internal monologue?
Well, yeah. How else can they pass it? But wouldn't
Grodin was great in Dave. I love Dave actually.
Dave's a really good movie.
Dave's a fantastic movie.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be
so was
interesting
the
though,
American President. I always likened them both.
Very...
The American President with Michael Douglas. And
my favorite, one of my favorite dramatic actors.
It's
of all
one of
time,
my
man.
favorite romantic comedies. Is The American President. I love that. I love One Fine Day. I like some sort of off the beaten path ones.
Oh boy, I could go with While You Were Sleeping, and I could go with Forget Paris.
One fine day, you look at me. Anyway, I'm
Sleepless
excited about
in
Jonesy.
Seattle. This is horrifying that we're talking about romantic comedies on the horror show.
Sleepless in Seattle. No, I'm just not that
Joe
into
versus
it.
the fucking volcano.
Where Meg Ryan played 3 different people.
Great movie. Sucker.
I'm a flipper to jib at.
Yeah. No, but I am
Cecil
wondering...
doesn't like David Bowie. No, I like Bowie. Okay, what kind of magic spell?
Bowie's in space. They did a terrific Flight of the Conchords episode with Bowie, dude.
No, I like
Not with Bowie,
I like
but
Bowie singing the Ricky Gervais
Bowie.
song. Fat little man, I like that. It was a funny moment in the Ricky Gervais show.
Well, I know a lot of the people love.
I like Space Oddity.
Is it The Hunger? Or
I really like Space Oddity a lot, and then I like. You remind me of the Babe. What Babe? The Babe with the power. What power?
And now you're making me think of the movie The Babe. John Goodman, where he was playing Babe Ruth.
I thought we were talking about.
We have been all over the place for the last
We're all over the map, guys.
Nonetheless, I am curious about your theory if this is going to have any internal dialogue or wording of any kind, because they can tell.
I think it should have internal thoughts.
Yeah,
I think it could have internal thoughts.
Well, they could easily get stuff across, with the first film, and then
she
Jonesy,
does, and the cat
Jonesy's
does end up
in the second
movie. Yeah, it's to show that Jonesy survived.
And Ripley calls her a shithead.
Yeah, that's right. When she finds out that Ripley is still the mother, tying it into today's recording of the Top Moms in Horror, which is going to be presented on May 13th. We recorded, guys, just so you know, we did post earlier that it was going to be a live stream, the Top Moms in Horror, but we ended up, because of the fact that the live stream happens on Mother's Day, and 2 of the core 4 are moms, they will not be available to record. So we went ahead and recorded Fuego, Marcia, and I doing the Top Moms in Horror. We recorded that tonight. We will be presenting it as a video podcast episode next Sunday.
Present them. And
so
it was
look forward to that.
Fun.
Not only that, but
we're gonna piss some people off with that video.
Marcia also recorded a full series review of Bates Motel, because that is very mom heavy. And then Fuego, I think we can get you to record a mom-heavy review, and then hopefully we can get Susie to come down. And
hey, my mom's not that heavy. Come on now.
Okay. We're gonna have a whole mom-centric weekend next weekend. So, yeah, I'm excited about this book. Fuego, you excited about this book?
Moderately. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right.
I just picked up a alien novel that is apparently the prequel to Covenant, and it deals with some stuff on Earth and whatnot, and yeah, that's one of my next reads after The Outsider by Stephen King.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for watching. We appreciate it. The news with booze. The cup is empty.
Yep.
It is time for us to go. Shh. It is time for us to go. Thank you guys very much for watching. Let us know in the comments down below which news story you're most excited about, or what your opinion overall on these are. We greatly appreciate you taking the time to do so, as well as taking the time to watch us this far. Thank you very... I really hate... Why do people do that? Why do actors do that? Thank you. Oh, thank you very much.
I have nothing wrong with that.
I don't know why they do it though. I'm just genuinely curious why everyone.
It's being genuinely appreciative.
But why this?
So what else should I do instead? Do you have a better suggestion?
Not you specifically. I'm talking like all Hollywood does it. They're all like, "Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it."
So should I just give thumbs up instead? Should I
I'm just
give a little one
all
of
right,
these?
guys, I've sparked a fight. I've sparked a fight at the end of the news here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
This is a thankful praying hand of thank you.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That's all I was asking. And